Good YouTube, Quinn Wade coming to y'all with that basketball analysis on Analysis Playground exclusively now on YouTube. We're going to talk about a hot topic that's fun and is going to be debated for years. After seeing Luka Doncic get traded out of nowhere, a lot of people have been speculating and talking about the ability of other stars to be moved within this free agency, whether it's Kevin Durant, whether it's now Ja Morant, and you just never really know at this point where the standings of these teams and their players are at until you really do hear something get leaked or you really do see something that's happening, and then it's all about making the move, just like we seen with Jimmy Butler. He said when y'all see and hear stuff that actually was happening behind scenes, y'all see why I want to be out of Miami. Now, there was other reasons why you want to be out of Miami, like getting paid, and we will have to see what else has been going on behind closed doors in that situation as it continues to move forward. But I just wanted to make this one over about Ja Morant because he is one of the biggest faces of Nike in the NBA. He has worked hard in general to be one of the best players in the league. He has dropped off a little bit because the gun incident and obviously being a guy that already damaged his body, especially his lower legs, like his knee. And the fact that they have him missing so many games this year too, and it makes him not look like an all NBA player or one of the best players sometimes because the team continues to win with or without him, making him more expendable than most other superstars because usually if your best player is gone for a long period of time, you go on a long drought of losing or you basically tanking the season. But Memphis is in a unique situation where they have been able to draft well even before and after Ja Morant, getting Jalen Wells and getting Zach Edey, getting Desmond Bain, drafting Jaren Jackson Jr., and they have been still been hitting on players like Brandon Clark and stuff like that too. And you just look at the fact that do they really need Ja or is he really that guy that's going to get them over the hump? Now it sounds crazy, like I said, because of his age and the age group of this team too. But you do get tired of a player. You do get tired of pushing the player. You do get tired of the bad things that the player brings to the table, and it does rub off on other guys. They can be on that pick a side type of thing too as it goes further, and you want to just get that bad apple away from the other apples before they all go rotten. But I'm not going to say it like Ja Morant has damaged his teammates. I feel like he is an honest guy. I obviously feel like he's one of the best players, especially at his position. But this Memphis team has been a little stuck because they continue to do their part and they continue to do things well and they continue to put themselves in a winning situation, and they have a great head coach that has shown that he's not going to build a team that relies on Ja Morant to do everything or be the biggest focal point of the team, and then they just crater without him. And I think that that's genius coaching, that's genius preparation, and I think that that's just a good idea that all coaches should heed if they have the talent to be able to do that. But they know that they're a small market team. They know that they're not the greatest destination for players. They know that they not the biggest free agency place either. So they did everything they could to cover their own back and put themselves in a position to where they possibly could win a championship. Because I mean, they're number two right now, and you don't really see too many people looking at them as a team that can win it all. And they was at number two a couple years ago, and people felt like they was up and coming. They lost. They went through other things and different situations, and people still don't look at them as a threat to be able to win the championship. Now, people respect them and put them up there. It's hard not to based off their record and based off their ability to be a two-way team. But it does have something to do with Ja Morant. They have a higher ceiling if they have Ja Morant healthy. Obviously, because he's just unguardable and unstoppable. Um, I just feel like his jump shot hasn't developed the way that you think it would, and his finishing ability diminished because he's playing more safe, as he should, because your body should become more important than the basketball career because you got to live with your body regardless if you're in or out the league. Plus, if you get injured too much, they're going to do you like Derrick Rose, who actually was a young star that also got traded, but it wasn't because of his reputation. It was because of the injuries. And he cried that day because he thought they was going to be riding and dying for him because of what he has done for the organization and the ties he had to that city and that state. And even that wasn't enough to keep him down there in Chicago for a long period of time after the injury. So Ja Morant, people compare him to Derrick Rose and Russell Westbrook because he's so explosive and so tough at stopping because of his speed and strength as a smaller guard. And obviously that's what he uses to his advantage to be a great player. But I just wonder, like, why wouldn't a team want Ja Morant? Why would a team even want to trade Ja Morant? And people say, you know what? It's his attitude, how he goes about things, how he feels about things, and how he's going through these last 2 seasons to show you that if they want to get over the hump, they probably can get the right guys or a right player that can probably steer them better or do more for them or get them to another level if it's not the coach. Because eventually this is going to be one of the runs where y'all did all these things right, like Sam Presti did with Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Serge Ibaka, Reggie Jackson. I go on and on and on. And that team accomplished absolutely nothing when it comes to winning the championship. And we have become a ring culture type of world where if you're not putting it together to win it all, then you haven't really done nothing or you haven't done your job as a player, as a trio, as a GM, and as an organization. If you're not delivering championships, then what is you doing this for? Especially because most owners are filthy rich and a lot of people that buy in are too. So if you're only using it to get richer when you have too much money already that you're not even using, then it doesn't really make sense from that regard too, from a business standpoint, because y'all can just basically pay all your bills off and just live a free life because that's how much money some of these people have. And it's true. It's like we do expect that to be the ideal situation because it's ring culture makes sense. Like if you're going to be working on your game every day, you're not going to have a second job besides doing sponsorships and commercials, which only take a couple minutes to do because they do the rest of that. Then you should be all in and focused on being the best team and being the best organization and being the best player that you can be because you're getting paid so much money just like these other guys as a part of the organization to be successful. And if you're not getting it done at the highest level, you're not accomplishing the ultimate goal, your season should be a failure. And I look at Memphis as one of those teams that you did everything right, but now what is the end goal? Because I do look at Memphis as a team that's not really a team that I would consider a championship team like so many others. I feel like if things go their way, then it can happen. But you can say that about so many other teams too. And it's about how many more can you win? Like when you get Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson, Desmond Bane, and these guys together, it is going to have that story of and narrative of how many championships can you win? How many NBA finals can you get to before you're 30, before you're 32, before you're in the prime of your career? Now you're in your prime of your career. How many can you get there and get done with winning? And I think that that's something that is fair. I don't think ring culture is wrong. I think it's fair. Like if you're gonna have this much practice and this much ability to be the best player of your dreams or become the player you dream of, you should be able to deliver a ring, at least a championship to start off with. But it just seems crazy to people that everybody's so fixated on championships, but it's the truth. Like y'all have more time to work on yourselves and your bodies to be able to give the best performances, and that's what we're paying as fans to see. You know, whether it's at the All-Star game or the regular season or even the playoffs, we want to see y'all perform y'all best because we're paying our hard-earned money to make y'all richer. And then y'all complaining that y'all should be getting more money or they should be paying more money for these things. And y'all not even giving us the best performances that we paying to see, even if it's on TV. And that's why the most difficult thing to do in sports is to win as a team and win as an organization too, because that's part of the championships. And what else is your goal? Because you already paid, you're already rich enough to do whatever you want for most NBA players, especially if they're, first round picks that's been around and actually are good players. Even the players that aren't really that great still making better than average money wise each and every season that they play. So why can't y'all, deliver on a championship. Now they're gonna say, well, it's only gonna be one team a year. I understand that, but when you get this far, like the Memphis Grizzlies are, it does make you wonder what more can we do, and that's where the question spins to Ja Morant. Like, if this is our leader, if this is our best player, him or Jaren Jackson, now people saying Jaren Jackson, that doesn't look right because 2 years ago, 3 years ago, everybody was people was believing that Ja Morant was the future. He was the hope. He was the guy that everybody will want and everybody will want to build around to a certain extent, depending on who you ask. Because you still did have Luka, now you got Victor, now you got Anthony Edwards. You have so many guys that are really good for their age and have the ability to still get better. And Ja was one of those guys. If he developed that jump shot, if he can slow it down a little bit, if he can get better teammates, then you have a real good piece. And I feel like the Memphis Grizzlies organization has done a great job putting the right pieces around them, depending on how their situation, well, because how their situation is in. And they have done everything that they could to put the pieces around the other players too. And you just look at it as, if you're not winning a championship, then what is Memphis really doing? And a lot of people laughed at me, not in a bad way, in a funny way. Like, you always talk about blow it up, blow it up, blow it up. It's like, I'm not saying that team should blow it up. They got to look at what direction they have to go in and stick with it. Because there's no way you can get out of these situations because the contracts start to lock you in, and either you can get better talent or you're going to get worse because you traded the best talent in a trade. And that's the way this NBA has been focused. And that's what they even said about Luka. Like, we feel like we can do better with a guy that's older and a better defender with another piece than win with a young generational talent that possibly can get us there and possibly can help us win. And people forget they lose 4-1. So it wasn't like the Mavericks was so close. They lost in the game 7 or they lost in the game 6. Like, anything can happen each and every season. You're rolling the dice on your team every single season to accomplish that one goal. And that's the toughest part about it. But by everybody being all in and doing what all it needs to take, as they should be, to be able to get it done, you always do wonder as a fan, what can we do to get better? And a lot of that does see, like have been seeing the last 10 years, that it is getting rid of your best player. These people know more, they see more, they go through more than we do, because we watching on the outside looking in, and it does make your head spin a little bit. Why did this happen? Why would they even think this way? Why would they even go about it this way? And I know that the man that said it wasn't trying to say it to blow up something or stir something up. It's just the facts that franchise players are not sticking as much as they used to. You know, teams are willing to move on faster. Teams are willing to move off faster, even if they get the number one pick, even if they have an all-star, even if they're trading them to pair them with another star, like we just seen with Jimmy Butler or Anthony Davis pairing with Kyrie Irving, or Zach LaVine playing with DeMar DeRozan and Sabonis. These teams are not fearful of letting their best players go, even if they know what can happen. Like, we done seen Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen go to Boston and win a championship. Paul Gasol go to the Lakers and win a championship with Kobe. They still didn't fear it. They let it happen. They made that move. And, you know, we don't even bring up those trades or bring up those situations anymore because they led to championships. Even if the other player, like Marc Gasol, who was in that Paul Gasol trade, he won the championship with the Raptors, but he didn't win it with the Grizzlies, but he made them competitive, and he made them competitive for years as being a big part of what they do. And now we looking at the Grizzlies right now, looking at, like, is we better with Ja Morant or without him? And when this guy puts that ideal out there, it has to be something that they're discussing in their head, or it's got to be something that they're discussing as an organization, even though it may not be true. But one of these guys is going to have to go. Like, you can't just keep trading away the third, the fourth, the fifth guy over and over again and getting the same result. So when I look at the fact, do we want to just give up our best player and just build the team differently, or do we know who our best player is? And this is one of those years where people feel like, well, if we had to be honest, Jaren Jackson Jr. is probably the best player on the Grizzlies. He was only all-star. He's healthier. He still got rebound problems, and he still does have foul problems, and he is the better defender, as he should be, because most big men are better defenders than wings or guards. But it did make me wonder, like, I see why a lot of people laugh with me now, because if you're going to put all your eggs in one basket, it does make sense to go all in, put all your chips in on it, because If you're not getting a championship, the fans are going to be talking, the media is going to be talking. You're going to have to hear it just like a player now. Nobody is safe. Nobody's escaping the temptation. Nobody's escaping the realism of what's going on. And that's why a lot of teams, they hear it like, I mean, we ain't winning anything. We're not going in any direction. We're not going to pay this guy all this money. And then he already proven that we can't win with him. So I do think players like Anthony Edwards and Ja Morant and these other guys are going to be on the hot seat a lot earlier. We hearing what they got to say. They're being more vocal. They telling you what they're about, even if they're in the public, and they're not really scared either to say or address how they feel. You done seen multiple guys get fined each and every season for speaking their mind and just saying, just take the check. I still want to get how I really feel out of it. And some of these teams are going completely nowhere. And if we had to be honest, Memphis is one of them teams that has one of the highest upsides, and now they're getting closer to their ceiling. And if they can't get over that ceiling and be able to win, they're going to be one of those teams that we're going to look at like, man, they have so much talent and they have so many things that they can do and so many things that they can be. In our eyes, I do wonder how the organization feels when they continue to fall short of their goals each and every season, and their leader is a part of that failure, just like the owner, just like the GM, just like the coach and their coaching staff. What are we really doing every single day if we're not really trying to accomplish the biggest goal in the game, which is getting to the NBA Finals and winning the championship? What is the goal? And that's why ring culture has become phony in this generation, because I don't think ring culture should be taken lightly. If your job is to be the best player you can be and the best teammate you can be and be coachable, that should put you in the best situation to possibly be able to win a championship. Ain't that the purpose of getting a coaching staff? Ain't that the purpose of putting money into this team and getting close to that tax bill so you can have the best roster you can have to give you the best chance of winning the title? Ain't that the point of this season? Ain't that the point of going through the regular season? To see what you need, to see what you got to get, to see where you're at, and gauge where you need to go to be able to accomplish that ultimate goal. I think we do fall short as fans, sometimes giving the teams and the organization the benefit of the doubt. Should we be expecting the best? Should we be getting the best out of everybody? Everybody's bought in. Everybody's going all in on this topic. And I think that it's just crazy seeing another guy that I'm looking at. Well, it's not as crazy as you think it is when you think about it. Like, if they trade Ja Morant, it would be like, wow, they traded Ja. We still would be shocked because it's Ja Morant. He's a household name for the NBA fans or worldwide now. And you see what he's accomplishing. You seeing how great he is. But a year like this is really a down year. And it might get worse. It might get better. But the time is ticking. You know what I mean? Like, he's only getting older. These injuries only piling up. And then you can be in a Joel Embiid situation where he's controlling what you can be. Because if he's not on the court and he's not really tradable that you can get something valuable out of him, then you stuck. Because injuries, these guys are getting beat up and toe up in high school, beat up and toe up in college before they even make it to the NBA. And now they're just damaged goods is what people call them now, as a product or as a player or as an asset. And now you have to deal with that while still trying to win to cover your job or cover your situation. And you just have to always be looking over your shoulders, because these jobs are just as valuable as a player. The players look at it as a great opportunity. So does the GM, so does the coaching staff, so does other people in the organization. So the goal should be, let's go all in and try to win as many rings as we can. Let's take the gamble. Let's take the risk. Let's go out there and do what we have to. And you would think that this is the mindset of every owner. You would think that this is the mindset of everybody in the organization. And reality is not. And that's why you have that idea of, well, if can we win without Luka? It starts off as a conversation, the guy says, and then it comes to reality. Yeah, we actually would do it. Let's actually do it this year. And the guy telling us all of this, that it was already a conversation, it was already a thought, it was already a belief that one day this trade could happen. And they have one of the best players in the league, and they just came from the finals, and everybody keeps saying that, but it's reality. That's how quick these things can happen. That's how fast these things can go. And some of these players don't even be in their 30s. Some of them be in their mid-20s, and teams are still letting them go. And teams are giving up on them early. They know more than we know because they seeing them on the daily. And I think that that's what the average fan, they know what's happening. They just don't think like that. Like these things are buildups. These things are piled up. And they're just like a breakup. Like I've been dating you, I've been taking you here, I've been doing this, I've been doing that, I've been putting up with this, I've been putting up with that. And now I'm just tired of it. Like we done got some things done. We done achieved some things as a couple. But honestly and truthfully, we just didn't work out for these various reasons that you knew about and I knew about. It just kept going on and on and on. And I'm just the one that's tired of, and I want to go in a different direction and find somebody else. That's how it goes. And it's just crazy just seeing superstar after superstar each and every year start off in a rumor, or the idea gets put out there, or the trade gets requested, and every year we seeing superstars get traded almost. Or yeah, every year at this point. Or if you don't want to say the word superstar, a star gets traded whether they're young or old, and it just becoming the normal. Like seeing Ja Morant, if he gets traded this summer or during the season, I wouldn't be surprised because Memphis has so much talent and has done so much right that it will be a waste if they don't win the championship, especially since they don't have one in that organization. So it's gonna be interesting. I think that this was a good idea to make it into a video and put it out there that nobody's safe. Like it started off like wow until you just come to realization like, no, Quinn, you're right. Like nobody ever was safe. Because the player can be the one that requests the trade too. It don't always have to be the team that feels that way. This is one of the first instances where the team wanted to be out. But, usually they want the security blanket first, then they want to be out. But once you get them under contract, once you showcase what they can do, you have yourself in a strong position too. It just, are you willing to do something that most people aren't willing to do at certain times? And now it's just going to be normal, I think, like it has been. Like we're going to just be watching more and more people just be on the trading block faster because of the fact that it's just so many players already that want to be a NBA player. It's so many leagues, there's so much talent out there that you can find somebody within 1 to 2 years and have that position full. Or you can do a 2-3 team trade and you get rid of De'Aaron Fox, but you still get Zach LaVine, and you're still in the same position, and you didn't really have to worry about keeping the unloyal one. Now you can get one that want to prove themselves and also want to be there like you had before. And it's just crazy how the NBA is just taking care of itself. Like all these problems are just working out. They're just literally going in these directions, and it makes sense still. Like I'm literally looking at like, you know what? I probably wouldn't be mad if I traded Ja Morant. Like if that's the guy we're getting rid of because of the financial implications, because he wants this type of money, because we're scared that he's not going to be able to lead us. Why not make that move and tell y'all honestly, like they do, why we made this decision and why we went about it that way, even if they're a fan favorite? Like we can just make another guy. And David Stern said the same thing about Michael Jordan. When Michael Jordan retires, what happens? It will be more faces of the league. It'll be more great players. And that's what happened. The Kobe's, the LeBrons, the Duncans, the Shaqs, and then on and on again with the Lucas and the Anthony Edwards and the Victor Wembanyama's. Is going to be that next guy or those next couple guys that are just as good as, just as dominant, that plays the game the right way, that's devoted to the game, and it just they're the new TV, they're the new watch, they're the new show that we all want to keep up about. Like I thought I was until they showed me like, well, you're great, but there's other people that's great. There's other people doing the same thing you do. You probably might not see it because you're working so hard, but once you get done doing that, you get a chance to take a break. Look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. Well, now you know they on your level. Well, now you know what we be watching when you not watching, or when you thought you was the hottest. We know that we are too. And like, well, that's the purpose of the Rising Stars. That's the purpose of the NBA draft. That's the purpose of the all NBA teams, to show you that you're on this level, this person on that level. Your goal should be to get to this level, and that's the mentality you have to have if you want to be the best or you want to be successful. Especially, even as an organization that's trying to win a title. And when I'm looking at this person putting that out that Ja Morant should be traded, and I actually can see it happening, and a lot of teams would love to have him. Is he making your team better? Is he making your team the same? Or is he making your team worse? And a lot of teams are willing to take that chance and that gamble because they don't get those type of players that often. And that's why I wanted to make this video, because Memphis is a team like Minnesota, like Utah, that don't get a chance to get a great player outside of free agency or draft. And sometimes not even free agency. They only can get it through the draft unless they have that big money that nobody is willing to offer the team, because they will have to play that desperate card. Well, we need a star, and it's the best way for us to get the star. Then we can start building after that. And the guy always told me, like, Quinn, you know what? First, you got to get the star, then figure out everything else after that. And that's what they did in Memphis, and things still not going the way that they planned. And the playoffs are going to be huge for Memphis the next 2 to 3 years, because it's either this team is really as good as we think they are, or this team is just accomplishing goals that we think that they should. Like, this team beats up on bad teams. They really do. And that's what they're supposed to do, because the goal is to win as many games as you can in the regular season. But now we have to see them against the best competition, and that's the playoffs. And I feel like this is going to be some huge things to look at as we continue to move forward, is playoff performances, and not just giving people credit on regular seasons. Because I heard this one guy tell me the same thing. Well, we have to start telling people you have to give credit for the regular season too, because it's tough to put your teams in those positions. It's tough to perform that way, especially because you're playing 82 games and you have to be able to be the best version of yourself. Even if you're trying to go to a new team, you're looking at that as a tryout. If it's not going to work out here, I can leave in free agency. I can ask for a trade, and people know what I can do, and people know how good I am. Now I just got to get in there and show them the person that I am. And I would say, well, makes sense. But you can take these topics how you want. I'm trying to give you as much introspective, as much conscious, and as much realism as I can, and just throw out a lot of ideas. You know how analysis be, it just is factual, statual, all rolled in one, plus more to come. So I had to look at this Ja Morant thing and seriously and say, we're going to continue to see players like Ja that has proven that they're one of the best players, especially at their position, just like we've seen with De'Aaron Fox, just like we have seen with Chris Paul. Chris Paul was a top 3, top 5 player to some people, and he still got traded to the Clippers, and he still got traded to the Rockets, and he still got traded to the Suns. Teams wasn't, they was happy to get him, but they wasn't stuck to not get rid of him. And like I said, superstars been getting traded more frequently than people think. People think just because Luka got traded, like, nah. If you go back and look at the last 10 to 15 years, superstars been getting traded basically every single season, and it hasn't been new. And if they're not getting traded, they're getting signed in free agency to go start something new. And it's just something that's crazy, man. It really is. And I do want to know what happens with Ja Morant, because he is one of those guys that, like, they saying that he can be just as big as Elvis in Memphis. I never went that far, because that's longevity, that's dominance, and that's something that you have to be the best of the best, or the best at that time, and that's an icon. I didn't put him that high, especially because he already had those injury issues even as a rookie, and he won Rookie of the Year, showing you that he had potential to be one of the best guards in the league, and he became one of them. But man, we still need to win the title. Like, we brought you here to help us and let you lead this team to the promised land, is what they calling it. And like, Ja Morant, can he literally be healthy enough for 4 rounds while still trying to play his game his way, and still trying to learn how to be better as a player for the next couple years? And if you get stuck, he's going to be the Paul Gasol. Well, you won Rookie of the Year, you had a great season, you had some great years here, but we're not really accomplishing our goals. We're not really getting all the way there. We think we can get the best value if we get rid of you, even though you're great and you did change the culture. You helped popularize the culture. You helped brought a lot of fans back to the arena, and we thank you for that. But we think it'd be good for me and you and us to be on different pages and different, assignments. And we don't want you being part of the team no more, because we feel like we can go in a different direction, because we don't like the direction the team is heading in. And that's how the conversation has been going for so many other stars. Either they want to be traded or the organization is in agreement that the best thing for both sides is to be in a different direction. So I'm not saying that Ja Morant should be traded. I'm not saying that Ja Morant will be traded. I'm just saying that we not really waking up because of Luka. People just saying that because that's how they feel in the moment. But this has been happening every single year. And we just have to come to the realization that no one has been safe. And what is the word safe in the NBA? It's a business. And it's not a wake up call, it's been going on. And it has been happening. Anthony Davis and all these guys have been doing signing trades and being asked for trades, and none of them are trying to be loyal. You know, Steph Curry, Giannis, those guys, even Giannis said he might be gone next year. He said that out of his own mouth because of the realization of what can be the NBA. Steph is probably the last of a dying breed that really wants to stay there as long as he can to get the most out of himself, because they have shown that they're committed to winning, and they showed it again getting Jimmy Butler. But I just watched some TV today and people say this is not the game no more. People moving around, people going around, people doing these things is more common, it's more accepted. Being a mercenary, being a paid for hire type of guy that can come in and do what you ask me to do, and I'm not gonna be mad or angry because I'm professionally that I'm cool with going wherever else I can go to just to continue to live my dream as an NBA basketball player. And I do feel like that's fine. You can have fun just being an NBA player, playing your role or playing your style on a team that loves it and accepts it, and just go on to the next one as a business venture. Well, I'll go try this out and see how it goes and just play my part until I retire, or until they don't give me a contract no more. That's how the league always been, man. That's how the league has always been, and we're just starting to notice it more because nobody thought that a 25-year-old phenom would be the one that's on the chopping block. But come on, man, we done seen some of these young guys get traded within the last 5 years, and it's crazy until you actually know that it happened for real. But it's nothing new. It really ain't. But other than that, comment, like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell for more analysis. And I do conversation videos just like this in different variety and different topics. Also do breakdowns with real footage of legends, current legends, rookies, and future stars. Also do draft coverage and mock drafts too. Not only that, I got over 3,000 plus videos already on my channel that you can watch that can convince you possibly to want to be a subscriber on this channel or support me on other platforms. Not only that, I got my other platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter on my page. You can check those out. You can see those for what they are. And if you want to follow those and see something else that I do besides make basketball videos, then you can check out those and do what you want with them. Other than that, y'all stay blessed. Y'all stay good. Put some rest, some leisure, some fun in there. We almost halfway through the work week already. It's almost Thursday. That's how quick this week has gone. But if we're going to be honest, let's just slow it down a little bit and realize that the team goal and the organization goal is to win ships. It's not championship culture. That's just how it always been. Some teams are just better at it. Some teams just take more gambles and risk at it. And some teams are just comfortable keeping the people entertained enough to keep them coming back. And if they have a run, they're going to try to go all in on that run, but they can care less if they do. Some organizations care less. Some organizations care more about delivering championships to the state and the cities that they play for. And that's why you keep seeing the same teams always in that conversation each and every decade, because that's their goal and that's what they're trying to do. And that's why they're known for it. It is something to put yourself in that position. We all can do it. Some people just choose not to. And that just as real as I can keep it. Gone for now. Y'all stay blessed. I'm gone.